What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update for you guys. And first up, we will be looking at loanees Sergio Reguilon and Tanguy Ndombele. Let's start off with Reguilon, as Marca have an update for us, and they say Ateltico Madrid are completely ruling out keeping Tottenham loanee Sergio Reguilon for next season after his loan deal expires at the end of the season. So that looks like the first of many to return to Hotspur way this summer.
Definitely right, and it's no surprise he's barely played, to be honest, for Atletico Madrid. Hasn't really hit the ground running whatsoever. You would have thought that he would have gone there and really cemented his place in the team, but hasn't really happened. And he's had big injuries as well.
He's pretty much been injured the whole time he's been
there. So why would they pay the money from that point of view? If he's been injured, you know what I mean? What's the point of taking the risk? So looks like we're going to be seeing him back at Tottenham.
He had that injury that took him out from the moment he got there until like very recently, and he's finally got back, had a few cameos, and now he's back on the injury list again.
Look, I don't think he's a bad player personally. I think he is a player who could work within certain managers. But if he's, he had injury problems at Tottenham when he was here. He's now got injury problems at Atletico. He had problems playing in a back five. So obviously it's not going to excite you having him back here, but is what it is. We have to deal with the situation, and with the fact that he's been injured as well, it's going to be very hard to shift him.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Ndombele now, and we've got some quotes to bring you via Demasio, and the quotes are directly from Ndombele, and he says, "I don't know what my future will be. Many fans ask me to return to Tottenham." He's looking at you, Sim, over there. "But the clubs will decide, and Napoli will have an option to buy. I don't mind being on loan here, but sometimes I see footballers being treated more like commodities than people. There was no other solution with Tottenham, and I'm happy I chose Napoli. With Conte, there was no choice. I would have liked to demonstrate my values on the pitch, but I was on the edge of the group. It was communicated to me from the first day of training with the team. I am listless. It's a label that I've always had from school to the field, but it's not like that. On the contrary, I work constantly to improve." What do you make out of those quotes?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because Conte pretty much immediately froze him out as soon as he arrived. He did have a couple of appearances, most notably against Liverpool, but that was only due to injury crises that we had. Obviously, he had that moment against Morecambe, and that was the last time we saw him. And then we never really saw him again. He's gone now to Napoli, and he went to Lyon as well. Obviously, we know he's a player of supreme quality, but it's his attitude and commitment and mentality that's always been in question. I do think that Spurs haven't helped him from the fact that when he came in, there's all this upheaval. We haven't had a proper stable structure in the team. Definitely one that's been on the front foot, which would be more suited to someone like Ndombele. But as well, every manager that's had him hasn't fancied him, apart from Spal and Mourinho, where he was playing well. But Conte and Nuno didn't really like the look of him. There's always been complaints about his work rate and all these different things. So from that point of view, it seems as though he might be one of those players who's wasted potential. But he obviously believes in himself. He says he works really hard. He's obviously going to toot his own horn, isn't he? He's not going to say, "No, I'm lazy." But if the managers don't believe he's putting in the work rate, then that's telling, in my opinion. But I've said it before, if a new manager comes in, looks at Ndombele and wants him to be, and thinks they can do something with him, I'm all for it, to be honest. I think his quality is there, but the managers at the moment don't see it that way. So
yeah, I mean, as an out-and-out footballer with the quality that he does have, I mean, when he's on form, he is literally breathtaking to watch. He's got supreme quality.
Which is a rare for a centre mid.
Yeah, and literally he's breathtaking to watch because he does things on a football pitch that you don't see any other footballer in world football do. Literally, that's how good he can be. It's just such a shame. That's the main source of frustration, isn't it? Because we all know how good he can be, and then we see him put in lackluster displays where he's not hardly running around and he gasses out after 60 minutes. His fitness just isn't there, and that's the main source of frustration. The way it all ended, the way he trotted off against Morecambe was a very hard one to take, and no Spurs player should be doing that, and it's unacceptable for the way he acted. And I've always said that I'm not really willing to give him another chance as a Spurs player, but I think there's always room If a manager does give him a second chance or a fourth, fifth chance, whatever it is, if a manager does give him that chance, then you have to give him that time, and you have to kind of maybe not back him from day one, but you've got to give him like the kind of leeway to let him play into your good books. Because if he can, then we've got a real asset on our hands, because he is an absolute baller.
You only have to look at someone like Xhaka to see that, you know, when careers at certain clubs can look dead and buried, and then the right manager and the right system, they can turn it around, and they can become part of a crucial part of the team, and become valued members of the team. So, look, at the moment, obviously, if it was up to me, I would sell Ndombele, but I don't know who the manager is going to be in the summer. And I'm just saying, if they look at all the loanees and think, look, I can do something with these players, then why not give them a chance?
Next up, let's talk about Julian Nagelsmann once again. Dan Kilpatrick says that there was a lot of noise at the back end of last week about Nagelsmann, and the word from the club is that he has not been approached and he's not a top target. And he says his opinion is it feels less likely now than it was when he got first sacked from Bayern Munich.
Who said that, sorry?
Dan Kilpatrick. So why would Nagelsmann not be a top target for Spurs?
He probably is, but the word, it's because, what do they say? The word from the club is he has been contacted, when we all know that it's been widely reported in Germany that he has been contacted. Probably that he's given us the no. Essentially, that's what. And now you're hearing from the club, oh, he was never contacted. Oh, he's not a top target. We don't really want him. So it's just PR.
We want a 35-year-old to manage us.
Exactly.
We don't want these guys through the club.
It's just PR. Of course we want him. Of course he's a top target, but clearly he's either not committing or he said no. So
who can blame him?
Exactly. We're a mess. Why would he jump at the chance to join Tottenham right now when there's so much uncertainty and we're in the mess that we're in? So I think it's probably makes sense for Tottenham to put it out that, you know, oh, we never really spoke to him, he's not really a top target, because they don't want it to be known that he rejected us. So that probably is more likely to me.
I mean, with the managers rejecting us for this managerial target, I mean, when you look at the amount of managers that might have rejected us in the last 2 years,
it's madness.
It's getting a bit of a long list, isn't it?
Definitely, and it's about who's who as well. Like management at the moment who's rejected us is a bit crazy.
And last but not least, let's talk about James Maddison again. Craig Hope from the Daily Mail says, I don't expect Maddison to go to Newcastle now. The noises that I'm hearing is that he's going to Tottenham. He seems pretty sure about that. Maddison to Spurs, here we go, from Craig Hope.
I wouldn't say here we go, but he's obviously, Sammy Monkbell said, didn't he, that he expects Tottenham to be, you know, he said Tottenham are front runners, didn't it? Was it Sammy Monkbell?
What we brought yesterday.
Yeah, so they work for the same publication, so he's hearing from Sammy Monkbell that Spurs are front runners. That's all it is, really. For me, I would be shocked if Maddison has made up his mind to come to Tottenham in our current state. If I was him, I would assess my options in the summer, see who's in for me, and then make the choice. I don't think he's going to be making any pre-agreements. We don't have a manager, we don't have a sporting director, all these different things. Why would he come unless he feels like no one is interested and we're the only ones really wanting him? Then I can see that. But I would have thought there would be quite a few interested parties in the summer. So I don't see him deciding right now that he's coming to Tottenham. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, let's hope you're wrong, because I think Maddison is definitely one of the pieces of the jigsaws that we need, and he's one that can work in many different systems as well. So I'd love to see James Maddison through the door. But that is your Tottenham update at the moment. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any thoughts regarding any of the news stories we've brought to you today. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always,